All right, so looks like someone's getting ready to tackle some home improvement projects.
hmm
We got a whole bunch of info here on pressure cleaning services. Specifically, Mark's True Clean and window cleaning in South Florida. Let's dive in and see if they're worth checking out.
Yeah, looks like you're thinking about a pretty wide range of stuff. Pressure washing, paver sealing, even roof and window cleaning. Nice.
Definitely want to make sure we cover all the bases right.
For sure. And having everything under one roof could be super convenient.
Absolutely. So first things first, Mark's True Clean has been around since 1995. That's quite a while.
Almost 30 years. That's a good sign, especially in this kind of business. Makes you think they must be doing something right to last that long.
Yeah, you don't see that kind of longevity without building a solid reputation. And they're based in West Palm Beach, but they cover a pretty big chunk of South Florida. Boynton Beach, Delray Beach, Jupiter, even up to Port St. Lucie and Fort Pierce.
So they're not just some small local operation.
Definitely not. And they really seem to prioritize customer satisfaction. They even mentioned 24-hour emergency service.
Oh, wow, that's interesting. I bet that comes in handy in a place like South Florida.
Yeah, think about it. Sudden storms, tropical weather.
Yeah.
You might need someone to come in and clean up the mess ASAP.
Makes total sense. So, what about the actual services? What are they specializing in?
Well, they seem pretty proud of their pressure washing expertise. They talk about using the latest, most advanced equipment.
And of course they do. Everyone says that.
Right. But they also mention specializing in those hard-to-reach areas. Brick siding, gutters, all that fun stuff.
Okay, but latest and greatest doesn't really tell us much. What kind of equipment are we talking about here? Different types of nozzles, adjustable pressure settings, eco-friendly solutions.
You're asking the right questions. And here's where it gets kind of cool. They actually build custom pressure washing units.
Wait, what? Really?
Yeah. Enclosed trailers, trucks, vans. They even encourage people to check out pictures and videos of the setups.
Huh. That's different. You don't see that every day. Must be serious about their work.
And it makes you wonder who they're catering to, right? Maybe even other cleaning businesses.
Maybe. Okay, so we've got pressure washing. What else is on the menu?
Well, they also do window cleaning. They have a proprietary cleaning process using high-pressure water, plus a protective sealant to prevent future soiling and water damage.
High pressure water on windows. That's got to be tricky. Not all glass is created equal. What about older, more delicate windows? And the sealant, what's it made of? Does it really hold up in that Florida heat and humidity?
Good points.
Yeah.
We definitely want to dig into those details. And then there's the paver sealing service.
Ah, yes, pavers, always a popular choice in Florida.
They claim that with their team's experience, your pavers will never look dull, dirty, or dingy again.
That's a bold statement.
It is. But again, experience is one thing. What kind of sealant do they use? How many coats? How long does it actually last?
Right. It's easy to make promises. We need to see what's backing them up. But you know what's interesting to me? Their service area.
What about it?
I was just looking at the list of towns they cover. Several are really close to where you live.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So they can easily handle your property.
Exactly. It definitely adds to the convenience factor.
It does. But convenience is just one piece of the puzzle. What's really standing out to you so far? What are you most curious to dig into next?
I gotta say that proprietary cleaning process for the windows that really caught my attention. Like, what's the secret? Special cleaning solution, high-tech water filtration, maybe some ancient window cleaning technique passed down through generations.
Who knows? But yeah, it's smart to be a little skeptical. I'm also curious how their high-pressure method compares to those traditional techniques. Sometimes a gentler approach is actually better, especially for older windows, the more delicate ones. And don't forget about that sealant. What are the long-term effects? Does it really hold up against that intense Florida sun and humidity?
Yeah, good point. Maybe they've got some impressive before and after photos on their website. Could give us a visual idea of their work. True, but you always have to take those with a grain of salt. Could be cherry-picked examples,
Yeah.
What I really look for are independent reviews from actual customers.
Oh, yeah, those reviews can be super helpful.
You can really spot patterns, like maybe they're always praised for being on time, or maybe there are a bunch of complaints about communication issues. That kind of feedback is gold.
Speaking of communication, I did notice that Mark's True Clean makes a point of emphasizing that they'll stay in touch throughout the whole process.
Yeah, that's huge. Especially for services that can disrupt your routine. It builds trust, Shows they care about you as a client, not just another job to check off the list.
They even encourage potential customers to ask questions or make special requests.
That's a good sign. Means they're not just sticking to some rigid script. A company that really cares about customer satisfaction will be flexible and willing to go the extra mile.
So it seems like we've got a few key areas to investigate: the specifics of their equipment and methods, the authenticity of those before and after photos, and of course, those all important customer reviews.
It's like putting together a puzzle, trying to see if all the pieces fit and create a complete picture.
Now, remember those custom-built pressure washing units we talked about earlier? I'm curious about what advantages those might offer.
Well, think about it. When you build something from scratch, you can choose the perfect components for your specific needs and for the challenges you face in South Florida. Maybe they've got features that make them more efficient, use less water, or give them more precise pressure control.
That makes sense. So it's not just about looking fancy, it could actually translate into real benefits for the customer.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got a good handle on the company's background, their range of services, their commitment to communication. Now let's see what we can learn from people who have actually used their services.
Those independent reviews are a gold mine of information.
They can give you a glimpse into the real customer experience, stuff like the professionalism of the crew, the quality of the work, whether the company lived up to its promises.
You know, we can look for those patterns, right? Like if multiple people mention the same issue, it's probably worth paying attention to.
Exactly. You can start to see the company's strengths and weaknesses and whether they align with your expectations.
Now, before we move on, remember their location in West Palm Beach, 2365 Vista Parkway. Does that ring a bell?
It does. That's super convenient, actually. It's really close to those other businesses you were looking into, the landscaping company and the pool cleaning service.
Oh, yeah. So you could potentially group all those services together, maybe even work out a package deal.
Exactly. Could save you time, hassle, and maybe even some money.
That's a great point. So if you were to actually reach out to Mark's True Cleaning, what would be your next step? What info would you want to get first?
I'd definitely dive into those independent reviews, see what real people are saying, both good and bad. It's the best way to get a feel for the company's track record and whether their quality is consistent.
Agreed. Those unbiased opinions can be so valuable. Anything else you'd do early on?
I'd reach out to Mark's True Clean directly, not just for a quote, but to ask some of those specific questions we've been talking about their equipment, their methods, their sealant, their communication process.
Getting those details straight from the source can help you figure out if they're a good fit.
Exactly. Plus, you get a sense of their responsiveness and how willing they are to address your concerns.
And hey, while you're at it, why not ask about those before and after photos? Maybe they have a digital portfolio you can look at.
Good idea. Seeing some visuals could give you a better sense of what to expect.
Okay, so it sounds like we've got a solid plan. Check those reviews. Reach out to the company directly. Gather all the info you need to make a confident decision. But before we wrap up this part, what's your biggest takeaway from all this? What really stood out to you?
For me, it's the importance of digging deeper. It's easy to get swept up in the marketing hype, but taking the time to understand the details, getting that independent feedback, asking the right questions, that's what makes all the difference.
Love that. It's about being an informed consumer, going beyond the surface and getting the full picture. Now, before we sign off, anything else you'd like to explore? Anything about Mark's True Clean or any other aspect of your home improvement project?
You know, this whole conversation has got me thinking about the bigger picture. It's not just about finding a pressure cleaning service.
Yeah.
It's about maintaining and protecting your investment in your home.
So true. It's about making smart choices that will benefit you for years to come.
Yeah, it's all connected, right? One decision leads to another,
Yeah,
and it all comes back to taking care of your home.
exactly. And that actually brings up something we haven't really talked about yet: sustainability.
How interesting. You're thinking about the environmental impact of pressure cleaning.
Yeah. We talked about those high-pressure methods and the sealants they use, but what about the cleaning solutions themselves? Are they using eco-friendly options?
You know, I hadn't really thought about that. That's a great point. If you're already investing in your home's exterior, it makes sense to choose a company that cares about the environment too. Right. It's about making responsible choices that are good for your property, and the community.
So it feels like we've really covered a lot of ground here. We started with a basic overview of Mark's True Clean, and now we've got a much deeper understanding of their services, their approach, and even the bigger picture of choosing a pressure cleaning company.
Yeah, we've really dug deep, haven't we?
We have. So what's your biggest takeaway from all this? What will you explore next as you continue your home improvement journey?
I think the biggest thing for me is that knowledge is power. Taking the time to do your research, ask questions, gather information, it really puts you in control.
I love that. It's all about making informed decisions that feel right for you and your home.
Exactly. And you never know, you might even discover some cool new solutions or hidden gems along the way.
Absolutely. So as you move forward, remember to trust your instincts, do your due diligence, and enjoy the process of creating a space that truly reflects you. Happy home improving, everyone.